Yeah, great day everyone. Welcome back. Um, Today I'm definitely going to continue from where we started the last time. We're going to see how best we can definitely implement, the random forest to classify between individual whether dead or alive using the breast cancer CSV file. As you know, we already, did the necessary pre-processing steps, in order to make our data to be clean so that we can use it for our ML model. Uh, if you don't watch the video, I advise you to go and watch the video so that you will be in line with what's actually going to come next. Um, Giving a brief summary of what we have done the last time, these are some of the things we actually read our CSV files. We actually, try to, look at how exactly our data is being structured, and we definitely, also try to get, some of the null values, also whether the data has some missing value or not. But fortunately, we don't have any missing values over in our data. Yeah, but also I also, show you one or two tips actually how to resolve actually if there are any missing values basically in your in the data or in the file you're using. If there is any missing value, how exactly to resolve it. I'll show you that steps, and then from there we also try to check for duplicates, and we see that there were some duplicate as well, but we remove those duplicate. We try to visualize what we also drop those duplicate, or data that actually appears twice over in our file. So also we also try to we also plot the box plot in order to look at some of the outliers over in our data, and which were actually identified, which is this box plot. And from there we also try to remove those outliers as well using this code. And from there we also try to verify whether the outliers were actually removed, and then everything works perfectly well, in all of those processes that we have taken so far. And then you say this is the confirmation that so that there is no outlier, so the outlier is basically has been resolved, perfectly. And from there basically we also try to trying to make sure that, because since we have some objects so far in our CSV file, we also have to convert those objects into an integer, but by using label encoder. So we use the label encoder basically to help us in order to convert those objects value to an int values. So basically this is the result actually, this is the table that we have that we get, after we have actually did those conversion using the label encoder. So this the result of the table. So this is the data that we actually gonna need for the implementation of our random forest classifier. Here actually we're just gonna show, just going to show, I'm just gonna say so how exactly we can definitely implement the random forest classifier. I also discuss about also other ML machine learning model as well, from here. So but I just want to show you how exactly we can definitely implement it. I will not go deep, into how exactly, like using hyperparameter tuning and other stuff, or using smart to solve, data imbalance and other stuff. I will not go through all of those things today, but I'm just gonna give you the basic concept on how exactly we can definitely implement this. But yeah, for sure, in our other lessons ahead, yeah, sure, I will definitely try to show you guys how best we can definitely, use the smart to solve the data imbalance issues, and also how we can definitely use or hyperparameter tuning as well using the Bayesian search hyperparameter, Bayesian search CV, which actually can be used in order to search for parameters in a wider space. But today, as I said earlier, let's see how best we can definitely implement the random forest classifier in order to give us a perfect classification. So the first thing is that we have to import the libraries that we need. So we're gonna import this from sklearn. So we're gonna say from sklearn dot ensemble import random forest classifier. So from sklearn, so basically dot ensemble, we actually import the random forest classifier because it's what we need so far in this step. And from there also we're gonna say from sklearn dot model selections, we're gonna import the train test spread because it's what we're going to use basically in order to split our data into training and also test and set. And from there, let's try to import also from sklearn dot matrix. We're going to import classification report in order to see how well basically our model perform basically when it comes to classifying, whether a new is alive or dead. So basically we're gonna use some of these. Some of these are some of the, some of the library that we actually need, in order to, obtain what we need so far. Now let's try to run this and then move to the next step. Okay, so after importing all of this library that we have needed, the next thing is that we have to, define the features and also the our level as well. We have to separate them. So, but you have to basically there are two. Looking at these columns, basically there are two columns basically that we actually do not need to include in our features, which include lies, age, and also the label as well. We actually have to drop these columns, and in order to drop these columns, you simply now let's define features. Let's label our features as x as we can, because x basically represents our features. Now let's say x here will be equals to df dot drop. We can use the drop function, drop, and then drop, use df dot drop, and then we have the, because we actually want to drop age and also the label column as well. So basically we going to drop age and let's see how this is labeled actually, and status as well. So age and status, these are the stuff that we wanted to drop so far uh, in the features. So we're gonna have status as well. So we're going to drop age and status, but yeah, we are also gonna tell Python to actually concentrate uh, on the columns as well so far for in doing so. And then from there we're also going to have our labels, and after that the label basically is the status basically actually, which is basically a binary label, which is either alive or dead. So basically we are going to assign this to the label as well, which is the status. So we're going to say df, we have our square bracket and we have status. Okay, status. So basically this is how exactly we actually going to define our features and also our label. So this is actually another significant steps that you have to take before you proceed to any other thing as well. So let's run this and see. Oh, it seems like there's a bit of problem. We have a problem a bit somewhere. Oh, sorry, here's the problem. Yep, that was a problem. It was a comma where I put, okay, yeah. Let's see. Okay, so this one also is already done. So we already defined our features and also our level as well. So the next thing is that let's try to split our data into training and then test instead. So we're gonna say my x test, sorry, x test, comma, x train, comma, y test, comma, y train. We equate it to train test split, open bracket, we have x comma y, comma, we have like test size we could, we're going to use 20%, so 0.2, which is 20% of our data. And let's try to set random state, sorry, random state is equated to 42. And also let's set our let's say stratified equals to y. Okay, stratify our labels y. Excellent. I think this is all we need. This is all we need for now. Let's see what we're gonna have. Bro, we have double sign here. Okay, that was a problem. Sometimes okay, so that one also is done. Now what we're gonna do is that if we can also like try to let's try to see the structure of our data, how exactly our test is being like let's see. No, no, let me just squeeze it here in the same cell. Let's see the let's see our level. Let's see whether we have actually a balanced level or not, whether the level is basically balanced or not, or whether let's try to print out our test size and then see the test set test, let's say x score test, and let's try to print out this and then see our test set. So this is basically the test values. These are the values which are basically used for tests. We also that basically we have 3,217 rows basically, which are actually used for the test and set, and the 14 columns basically are actually included. Well, let's look at also our y value. Y test here dot value count. Let's see whether we have a balanced data set or not. Yeah. Okay, so this is what exactly we have. Let's it in A and then see thing. Okay, now looking at this thing, actually, you observe that basically for because 0 basically actually represent a life, and then also 1 represent death. Okay, now this value, you observe that basically we have an imbalanced data set so far. Yeah, sure, but one can definitely resolve this using the smart basically can actually resolve this data imbalance issue. But in this case, we're not going to talk about that. We're only going to see how basically we can just implement this classifier. Maybe in our coming videos we will definitely, so I will show you guys how exactly we can definitely use smart actually to resolve these data imbalance issues. And not only about that, but I'll also show you how exactly we can also use hyperparameter tuning so far in order to enhance the performance of our model. Well, in this case, basically, let's just look at the basic things on how exactly we can definitely implement some of these ML model. Yeah, but we can see clearly that we have an imbalanced data set so far in our data, which is quite not that much good for our model. But nevertheless, let's continue what actually we are here for. Now, the next thing is that let's try to initialize our model. Let's call it RF, Random Forest Classifier RFC. Let's equate it to we initialize. We're going to initialize the model first, and then we set our random states. Our random state to be equal to 42. So basically, it's always good. We're gonna initialize. So after initializing this model, the next thing is that we're gonna fit the model. We're going to train it. Okay. Let's say RFC dot fits. We're going to fit our models, and then we put our x-train sorry, have a x-train comma uh, sorry for that. Okay, we have our x-train and also y-train. Okay, now we are going to train our model. So in training show, let's see what Excel is gonna do. Okay, so the model is actually done training. It is very fast, quite fast. So the model is actually done training. Now the next thing is that let's just try to test our model. Let's try to predict. Let's say our y predict. Let me write this in small caps. Y predict will equal to uh, yeah, RFC dot predict one bracket x test. We're gonna use the test set in order to predict our model. So with this, we're gonna predict our model, and then let's see. Yeah, the prediction also is done. Now, the next thing is that let's look at the accuracy, how well our model basically performed so far in actually trying to classify whether one is alive or dead. Now, to do that, basically, we're gonna say we're gonna use the print functions one bracket classification report, since we already imported classification report open bracket. We have our the true values, which is y test y test, and also the predicted value, which is pred y pred. So basically, let's see what we're gonna have. Yep. So this what Excel we have now. Looking at also we have the precision, we have the recall F1 scores, and then after that basically the accuracy performance basically we have up to 89% accuracy performance, which is quite moderate I can say. But nevertheless, we can definitely improve this accuracy performance so far. Maybe when we use some hyperparameter tunings so far, optimizations when we optimize our algorithm, or better still also when we use smooth as well to solve the or resolve the data imbalance issues. Yes, data might actually boost the accuracy performance. But actually, this is all I have for you today, like how to actually implement, the random forest classifier. We actually gonna look at different models, and from there, in other lessons to comes, we're gonna see how best we can definitely optimize these models, or whether still also how Excel we can resolve, the data imbalance issue as well, in which we will definitely go deeper so far into implementing some of these, machine learning models. But I guess, if you find this video really interesting, just hit the like button and then also give a flow in order to support this channel going. But this is what Excel I have for you. I'm gonna say thank you so much, and then we meet in our next video, in which I will also talk about how we can definitely implement the XGBoost classifier as well. From there, we'll also talk about other models as well, so unless till when we are actually done with talking about all this content about most of these models, talking about how exactly we can simply implement these models. Then from there, we can actually go deeper into optimizing this model, and also solving or resolving data imbalance issue as well. So I'm gonna say thank you so much once again, and then see you in the next video.